Morning. Going live now, 7 a.m. on the 3rd of August, 2020. We have arrived at Meditate with Adam 134. 134. Thanks for joining this morning, and well done for getting up and sitting down. Morning meditation is very powerful and very helpful. We start the day with focusing the mind and directing our intention. Morning meditation is really good. Meditating at the beginning, so the beginning of the day, beginning of the week, beginning of the year, helps to focus our intentions for where we want to be going. Yesterday, at the end of the session, I was talking about receiving teachings. If we are to progress, we need to learn. We need to be able to learn from situations, circumstances, and people. And if we are skillful, we can learn from everybody that we come into contact with. If we're skillful, in particular, it's helpful if we adopt this view to apply it to those who we're closest to, because of course these are the relationships that we're continuously engaging with, and this is how we interact with our world, and this is where our practice can come alive. If we just apply it in a kind of abstract way, then it remains abstract and no change takes place here. We were discussing yesterday on the death retreat. One of the attendees was saying that although intellectually we understand we're going to die, in our heart, perhaps we don't allow that understanding. We intellectually know that, but we don't necessarily live in accordance with it. So we have an intellectual understanding of something, but there's no shift here. This is where the shift needs to take place. We can intellectually understand the benefits of patience. Patience brings great peace, brings an improvement in our relationships, an improvement in our mental health. Even our body becomes healthier, stronger. So we intellectually understand that, but experientially, maybe we don't take those opportunities to practice it because it seems as though this person is at fault and they need to change. So this is where the whole teaching of seeing other people as our teachers comes to the fore. And of course it requires humility to get a teaching from somebody. We need to feel as though we have something to learn from them. And we may feel with some people nothing to learn. Or maybe we feel, I know them. I already know who they are. And they've spent so long with them, whatever. There's nothing to learn. But meditation, of course, freshens our mind. And then we can move into a new space. Yes, maybe I can learn from this person. What can they teach me? I could even go further, as I was saying yesterday. Maybe it's even an enlightened being. Yeah, if you want to move into that way of thinking, teaching me. You know, throughout the history of Buddhism, stories of students, relationships with their teachers, you know, the importance of the relationship, and also encounters that they've had. Their teachers have appeared in different forms, supposed ordinary forms, to help the student look at the world in a purer, clearer, more positive light. Even teachers appearing as animals. Like, for example, Maitreya. He appeared to his student Asanga as a dog, as a sick dog, you know, to help him, to help Asanga and develop compassion. So, from an ordinary perspective, looked like a dog, sick dog. But this sick dog allowed Asanga to develop compassion. Actually, it wasn't a sick dog at all, it was Maitreya. Such a helpful way of looking at the world around us. And it means we can really have a creative approach to our relationships, and we receive continuous inspiration from all our relationships. We may be dissatisfied with some of our relationships, not feel they're very inspiring. But that may be coming not from the person, but from our ordinary mind. If we were to change our ordinary mind to a purer view, then we may start to see the world in a completely different way. It requires humility, of course, and a shift in having a stubborn view. Stubbornness is, of course, a big obstacle. When we hear the word stubbornness, we may immediately think, I'm not stubborn. But even that immediate response can be a sign of stubbornness, you know, an inability to change our view, locked in to something, a view of somebody, yeah, rigid. And it's not much fun, really. This view, it's like a new way of looking, helps to soften this stubbornness, so we become a bit more fluid. Nobody wants a stubborn mind, but it creeps in, and then we can't change. And we think other people need to change. But of course, we can't change other people, but we can change our view. And this is where meditation comes in. Yeah, we go in, where to? The engine room of our existence, into our mind. And we look. Simply, that's all we're doing in this practice. We're just looking at thoughts. You might think, this isn't going very well today. Instead of believing that, so just look at the thought itself. It's far more interesting than believing it. And then look at the nature of that thought. Or if you think, oh, I've got a pain here, I've got a pain there. Why follow that thought? Look at the thought itself. And what starts to happen is all these thoughts, which is what the drama of our life is predominantly about, they just go, disappear, and we're left with what? Deep peace. Let's go again into our mind, see what's going on in there this morning. In some respects, the more activity, the better, because we're going looking for it, exploring it, and appreciating its nature. Turning our attention inwards. Why are we doing this? Well, we can check our intention. Why have we come along today? And why are we meditating? Try to set an intention for this. Use the third of the breath to guide your mind inwards. We know all the busy activity that our mind could be thinking about. The news, websites, the jobs. We turn our attention in a different direction to the mind itself. Into the very heart of our existence, the engine room of our life. And on the in breath, we travel inwards. Where does the in breath go? Once we breathe in, what happens to it? Our in breath is leading us into the vast world of the mind. We're not so concerned with the out breath, just predominantly focused on the in breath. And as we look at our mind, we notice all the activity, all the judgments and labelings, plans, projects. We're not concerned with working anything out. We're just looking with an open awareness. Like a scientist, curious to see what is happening. Waiting to see what thought arises next. Maybe if we keep looking, no thought. We calmly abide in the vast space of our mind. thoughts about the future, thoughts about the past, thoughts about the present. We see them, we look at them, what happens to them? Where do they come from? Where do they go? And looking ahead to the week, to the day. We set our intention to move into the week, into a mental space where we can learn from everything we encounter. People, animals, circumstances, even the weather. We dedicate all good energy from our meditation, healing across the world. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming this morning. And I may see you later in 12 hours' time. Well, for the evening sesh.